Do you think Dogecoin is dead? Well, I challenge you to prove it. In this video, I'm going to give you my top 3 reasons why I don't believe that's the case. And I'm actually going to show you even a couple on charts. The first thing, just getting really right into it. The first thing is I often see this in my comment sections, even on Twitter, on X, excuse me, and people are constantly saying, "Oh, the coin's dead, the coin's dead," and I've been getting a lot of that over the last week, just because Doge is not moving with a Bitcoin catalyst. And this is on top of this being completely ridiculous. We have to really take a moment to zoom out and not use emotions. Um, for lack of better words, the ETF catalyst is an altcoin catalyst. It is for primarily is going to benefit Bitcoin and Ethereum. That has nothing to do with Dogecoin, even in the least. You have to really kind of take into account that if you have a catalyst that's for a specific coin, that specific coin is going to benefit the most, right? And Bitcoin didn't double when Elon purchased Twitter, right? Dogecoin did. Why? Because that's pertaining to Dogecoin. Yes, you can see some spillover, but do not expect Bitcoin to get $100 billion and because of ETFs, and then for some reason I was like, oh, okay, well, Doge should have doubled. Check a look at the rest of the crypto. Don't isolate it just on what you're invested in. Take a look at all of the other cryptos. When the initial news came out, was that Tuesday? The most of the market was red. Bitcoin was the primary coin that was green for that entire day. So make sure you zoom out before you start making those claims. So number one, the first thing that we're going to take a look at is the performance over the last year, right? Dogecoin outperformed the S&P 500. S&P 500 returned roughly around 24%. Dogecoin did 41% for 2023, more than double the top 500 companies in America. You can look at and compare it to certain coins that have popped up, but I challenge you to find a coin that had similar returns that's in the meme stage, a meme phrase from that's been in existence from 2020. Because what you're doing is people that make these comments, what you're doing is you're looking at coins that have popped up in the last 2 months, and you're saying, oh, well, this coin has this coin isn't dead, it has growth. No, this coin is new and it has the shiny object syndrome, and therefore people are coming in there. Ask yourself, where are all those coins that had that major growth that popped up in 2020? Now, Dogecoin is a lot older than 2020, but we know that's when it got a lot of its popularity. But ask yourself, where are all those coins that were from 2020, right? Where are their gains for this year? Are they outperforming the S&P 500? Did they remain a top 10 crypto for the last 3 years? No, they did not. Most of them are gone. You ask yourself, where's Dogecoin's mom and Dogecoin's sister and Dogecoin killers and stuff like that? They have not pretty much kept up with the pace. And even during the drought of the bear market, they were not able to stand the test of time. And a lot of them are barely even coming up in conversations. You have to kind of keep that into mind when you're saying that, okay, well, this coin is going to outperform Dogecoin. Yeah, so that coin has 3 zeros in front of a decimal point. It's not difficult to pump that coin, especially if it's new, and say that, oh, okay, well, this is outperforming this asset right now. Yeah, let's see it in 6 months. Let's see it in a year. Now, if you're a trader, then it doesn't even make sense for you to even comment on this because you're just hopping around anyway. So that's just really an ignorant argument at that point. So that is my point number one. Point number two, Dogecoin has not done anything that is abnormal in the charts. It is not behaving abnormally. It's not when it has its zones. The zones have been clear. We've been covering them in the channel for literally throughout the entire bear market. Even right now, we're covering the liquidity zones. I'm going to bring up the charts here in a moment. We're going to take a look here at the liquidity zones, Fibonacci. It is behaving absolutely normal. It has not done anything abnormal for where it's grabbing liquidity. Anything, it hasn't been like rug pulled. It hasn't been dumped and stuff like that. It didn't correct outside of the normal correction window for crypto. It has not done anything abnormal. And I think that has to be taken into effect as well. If you have to say, okay, well, if this is in a dead coin, what about this coin makes it dead, right? Is it just your lack of patience? Or is it doing something that's alarming? Is it behaving abnormally? Is it not? Did the community turn its back on it? Did it not give sufficient gains within the last year? Is there not capital flowing into this asset? These are things that you have to ask. Is there not a plan for this asset going on forward and going forward into the future? Because I think a lot of times people take altcoins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and say, okay, and try and apply that same perspective onto Doge. These are two separate things. These are not the same things. Yes, you can kind of do some comparisons to get a general idea of the market, but they are two separate things. They have two. Even the mining ratios are completely different. The catalysts that they're going to be used in are going to be completely different. You cannot. There's literally, if you're looking at this as a roadmap and not just saying, okay, this is a general idea of the market or capital flowing into the market. If you're looking at those coins as a roadmap, I encourage you to stop, because you're going to consistently be disappointed when you're looking at that as a roadmap. Those coins are made, they were designed for a completely different purpose. Let me say that. So it makes no sense for you to compare those two and say, oh, well, look at this asset doing this and this asset is being accepted here. Why isn't Dogecoin going to be in there? Why isn't there a Dogecoin ETF and stuff like that? It makes no sense to do that. And you have to understand what the purpose of an asset is. What's the purpose of an ETF before you start saying ridiculous things like that. The third thing that I really want to drive home is, if you look at the last few years, and I know I mentioned this in my last point, you'll see that Doge remained consistently in the top 10. These other coins did not. A lot of these coins even a lot of coins that the people are bringing up right now, they'll never make it to top 10. You have to look at this and say, okay, when you have an asset, you have like a community, you have a plan for the community. Now, and I'm not saying that if the plan changes, even if Elon comes out and says, you know what, instead of Doge, I'm going to do X coin, right? We're not going to do Dogecoin. We don't think it's worth it, whatever. And we're going to do X coin. Yes, that's a change in a major catalyst. And that does change the perspective of the coin. That changes the vision for the coin, longevity for the coin. That changes it. It's kind of like investing in comparing it to like a startup, right? Everything's not clear. You have a vision for the coin. You have leadership in the coin. You have community behind the coin. But as far as for the steps, it's not completely clear, but you're building it out as you go, right? And that is when you kind of take that into comparison versus saying, okay, well, I'm going to try and jump in and hopefully it pumps and then I'm going to sell the coin. No, I'm not saying that you should be blindly investing. I'm not saying that no matter what happens, you should be absolutely in love with Dogecoin. I'm not here to do that. This is not a financial advice. I know everyone here ultimately is looking for a return, as you should, but you have to look at the bigger thing and say that, okay, well, this coin compared to a lot of those other coins. Remember, we had over, I think at the peak, around 20,000 different cryptos pop up since 2020, since the big run, and everything was going to be the next Dogecoin. We haven't seen it yet. And it's the biggest thing that we have to see here is the fact that it has went against all odds. You have a meme coin that has been a top 10 coin consistently for the last 3 years. You have a meme coin that has outperformed the S&P 5, the historic 100 plus year old S&P 500. You have to take into account and say that, okay, we're in uncharted waters. So when you say that, oh, this coin is dead and stuff, that's why I say, okay, we'll prove that, because you don't have anything to compare it to. You have nothing to compare this coin to say that it's dead. Everything that it's doing, it's historic. If you really take a step back, this coin is really historic, because when you look at it and you say that, okay, well, this coin has been a top 10, has billions of dollars that have flowed into it. It not only when the SNL thing happened and we had the correction as far as in the bull market, it corrected within historic range for crypto. This coin could have said, it could have been like, oh, well, the community was like, oh, well, the community, the bear market's here. We're going to move on to the next coin. And that did happen. A lot of liquidity left Dogecoin for some of these newer assets, right? Exchanges were going bankrupt left and right. People weren't able to get their money out. It was a lot has happened in the last 3 years. Dogecoin corrected within range. It did not go, back to 0.2 of a penny and stuff like it could have, but it did not. The community has been behind it. So outside of something major happening, and to me, something major would be utility. Outside of something like utility being taken away from Dogecoin, I have no reason to say that it's dead, right? If we are at the heart of the bull market and then Doge is still at 7, 8 cent, then yes, we can have this conversation. But as of right now, don't jump the gun just yet with these claims, because you're comparing it to, Come Rocket or something that, some of these coins that come out and they're going to do well for like a month or two, and then they disappear, and then everybody swears to God that they made money, right? So we're going to have to just be a little bit more educated when we're making these decisions, because a lot of it's BS. There's no way that these coins that are pumping and dumping, everybody's making money. Like if a coin comes out, shoots up 10,000%, goes to zero, disappears, and nobody's ever heard of it, nobody hears about it anymore. Somebody was liquidity for those people that sold. Somebody was liquidity for those developers that own 50% of the float the entire time. Everybody didn't make money. So, just when you hear these things, when you see these comments, people are saying these things, just know a lot of it's BS, right? But if you believe that Dogecoin is in fact dead, please let me know in the comment section. I would love to open this up for debate. I would love to have that conversation. I think it'll be a very healthy dialogue to absolutely have, and just to hear different perspectives on it. I give you my reasons why I don't think it is, but if you have something else to say, or if you see differently, feel free to let me know in the comment section, right? So let me take a look here at the chart. Just to let you know the correction window. I don't want to make this video too long, but I promised that I was going to do the chart, so let me do that. Okay. What we have here, what we talked about a couple of days ago, as far as for where is Doge going to grab liquidity, right? And we mapped out these zones. We've been covering this since back. I put it back to June, right? Have not moved it. Our liquidity zones have not moved in over a year. Everything is still there. We're just letting the charts play out how they do, right? And we come down here literally to the 0.5 mark, rejected, grab liquidity, and bounce back up, right? So this has an opportunity, because technically we were looking at a 14 crossing the 72, which would be known as a death cross. And then I said, okay, well, where are we going to grab liquidity? Is it going to be here, or are we going to have that drop down to, or pretty much our primary liquidity zone, which is 596 to around 709. This is typically where Doge hangs out at. Really hung out at over the bull market, and of course it rejected off of the zero, which is the current, which is the lowest one it's been in since we've had this. Lowest range it's been in since we've had this ascend, and it's bounced off of that. So where we're going to be at in this zone, whether or not this is going to be the new major liquidity zone, something similar to this, is TBD. But ultimately, we'll see as far as if this is going to gap back up, kind of fill this to the upside here. This is certainly a gap down, but we'll see if this is going to fill this back to the upside, which will put us somewhere around 9 cent. Because right now it's certainly doing well, but that's literally TBD. But ultimately, we are back in this zone here. We'll see how this goes. Shorts, I don't believe, has done anything, but this is what I meant by when I said that it has not done anything abnormal. Shorts are up. Shorts are up 62.19% for the day. So even when you say that, just kind of keep in mind that they're most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, Doge is the most shorted crypto in the top 10. So keep that in mind when you're saying stuff like that. And we all know what shorts are. If you don't understand what shorts are, then again, it's another one of the cases where I don't believe you can make a decent argument. But if you know what a short is, you'll know exactly what that means and what they're actually doing to the coin compared to the price action that should be happening with the coin. So nothing abnormal. Literally looking for liquidity, grabbing it. It did it similar here. We had this ascend up to around 875, which is ironically where we're rejecting from right now, and went down to the top of the liquidity zone, grabbed some liquidity, and was able to go on a tear here. Really, that's a phenomenal run on the day, up until a little over 10 cent. So we'll see as far as where we grab liquidity out on this run. But again, it has not done anything abnormal. We will kind of just coincide that with the macros. But again, if you think that it has done something abnormal, please absolutely share it with me, and I will certainly take a look at it and consider it. Right? I'm not an unreasonable person, but I have not seen any evidence that this coin has done something abnormal. And so you have to, not necessarily just spew garbage or just post things and post with emotions because you've wanted something to happen by now, or you want it to be some astronomical number by now. You have to come with facts and look at that. I made a post just about a couple hours ago. I said the number one thing that kills portfolios are not investing in quality and lack of patience, right? And I never recommend going all in on an asset. I never recommend blindly investing, getting married to assets. That's not what I do. I have a number of other investments, including different crypto, stock market, Vanguard accounts, all that kind of good stuff. I'm not exclusively Doge by any means. I've expressed myself as far as why I like to invest in the coin, which is I believe that, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. I'm very curious about these ETFs. Don't get me wrong. But I looked at the perspective as Dogecoin is actually, what are the odds that there could actually be a people coin, right? One that's not governed by institutions, one that's not in the control and the grasp of BlackRock or a JP Morgan or Goldman or something like that. With these ETFs, what are the odds that there can actually be a decentralized token that can be used for exchange and actually have utility? That in its aspect is historic, and I find it interesting, and I want to see how that plays out, because again, speaking of history, like I did earlier in the video, it has not been done. So I'm very curious to see how that goes, and that's why I wanted to be a part of this. This is why I'm watching this so closely. So ultimately, again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I wanted to put this out just because I've been seeing a lot of the comments. I'm not gonna say BS, but I've been seeing a lot of the comments, and I just want facts, not feelings, right? So if you have some facts, let me know in the comment section. With that being said, I appreciate all of you. Thank you guys for 60,000 subscribers. Subscribe to the channel if you want more, and I will see you guys in the next one.